Hello, the Pioneer viewers. As you know, our agenda is Russia-Ukraine war, and the war is raging on the front line. While the parties continue their mutual attacks, they are also trying to increase their gains. There has been a lot of diplomatic traffic in recent days as the agenda is quite active. In addition, the allegations made after the recent events in Moscow make the agenda even more complicated. The responses from the opposition to the statements of the Russian officials surprised everyone and made them suspicious. Returning to the battlefield, the Ukrainian army continues to do what it knows best, namely strategic offensives. It was reported that the Ukrainian army destroyed the Russian army's assets in Crimea as part of the latest strategic offensives operations. Recently, the Ukrainian army has been cracking down on the Russian army, and especially in the Crimea and the Black Sea region. And the Ukrainian army's efforts to consolidate its dominance in the region have led to the destruction of the Russian army's assets in the region. So Russia's attempt at full-scale invasion of Ukraine has been going on for a long time. Initially, conflict that it would quickly invade Ukraine has been going on for a long time. Initially confident that it would quickly invade Ukraine, the Russian army did not find what it had hoped for. Faced with fierce resistance from the Ukrainian army, everything went bad for worse for the Russian army. A group of the Russians who regretted the start of the war used the phrase "things have gotten worse" to express their targets. Their words actually show the situation that Putin has dragged Russia into, and the Ukrainian army, on the other hand, is preparing its offensives with great care and continues unabated. The Ukrainian army, which continues to courageously defend its territories occupied by the Russian army, declares that they will not return home until the occupiers are cleared. And in recent days, the Ukrainian army has inflicted significant losses on the Russian Navy in a series of attacks. In the latest attack, a large number of equipment and vehicles belonging to the Russian Navy were damaged. One of the important factors in the successes of the Ukrainian army's offensives is the valuable information it obtains thanks to its robust intelligence network. Now, if you're ready, let's analyze the latest developments together. As the Pioneer, we continue to report on Russia-Ukraine war, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all of your comments, so please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us. Let's start if you're ready, because the Pioneer reports. The statements made by the Kyiv authorities the other day revealed the successes achieved by the Ukrainian army in its offensives on the front line. According to Kyiv, Ukrainian forces sank another one of Russia's Black Sea Fleet landing ships after neglecting two large Russian military landing ships and an important Russian reconnaissance vessel. Ukrainian Navy spokesman Captain Dmitry Politanchuk told the media that Konstantin Olshansky landing ship was destroyed following the Ukrainian attack. And the Ukrainian Navy said in a statement released last morning that Kyiv forces had successfully destroyed Konstantin Olshansky and 3 other ships it had targeted since the offensives began. The Kyiv military said in a statement that it had also attacked Russia's 2 large landing ships, the Yamal and Azov, in the attacks on the Crimean port city of Sevastopol. And Ukraine also said it targeted a Russian communications center and other unspecified infrastructure facilities. Ukraine's navy is relatively small, but Kyiv has been highly effective in using missiles and naval drones against Moscow's Black Sea Fleet based in Crimea. Russia's military has shown itself to be ill-equipped to fend off Ukraine's frequent attacks. Ukraine has jeopardized Russia's operations in the northwestern Black Sea, forcing Moscow to move some of its assets in the Ukrainian base of Novorossiysk further away. Published assessments reports have also suggested that the Kremlin is planning a new military base in the port city Abkhazia in Uchamchaya, a breakaway region of Georgia. And this would mean moving Russian Black Sea assets even further away from Ukrainian's coastline. So reports published by the British Ministry of Defense are among the sources that closely following the war in the region, and according to reports last week, it assessed that Russia has limited most of its operations to the eastern Black Sea. Russian troops stuck in the region are hesitant to show their presence against their Ukrainian army. And according to the British intelligence assessments last week, Russia has used a number of methods to confuse Kyiv's operators. Moscow announced that it would increase protection around its fleet with large caliber machine guns to shoot incoming naval vessels before they hit Russian ships. Throughout the war, the military has tried to counter the Ukrainian army in many interesting ways, and the latest move of the Russian army, which tried to protect planes with car tires in the previous month, has become a subject of ridicule on social media. Military experts who closely follow the war stated that the Ukrainian army broke new ground. So, with the unmanned vehicles and technology that Ukraine are actively used in the war, it has taken steps that will change the methods of today's wars. And for this reason, the Ukrainian army's struggle and strategy in war will be remembered for years to come. And the Ukrainian army's attacks are not only destroying the resources of the Russian army, they also deal a heavy blow to the Russian economy. In the Ukrainian army's strategic offensive operations, many Russian facilities are targeted, and among the targeted facilities are mostly fuel and oil facilities. And the attacks, which have increased infrequently recently, have had a very negative impact on Russia's exports. The Russian military's fuel supply chain has also been disturbed. Ukraine's drone attacks on Russia's energy facilities have pushed oil companies in the country to reduce gas line production. Another Russian facility was targeted in an attack by the Ukrainian military the other day. A drone strike on Novokoybishek's oil refinery in Samara region caused the production cycle of the facility, and which makes fuel for jet engines, missiles carriers, and cars to shut down. The Ukrainian military's widespread attacks were also noteworthy, and the Ukrainian army has reached Ryazan and Privy-Zavod south of Moscow in the Rostov region bordering Ukraine, Nizhny Novgorod and St. Petersburg, 300 miles east of the capital, and it's terrorizing Russia. So the Russian army is unable to prevent Ukrainian troops from entering Russian territory at such close distances. So now it's your turn. How do you assess Russia's war management processes, and how do you think the Russian people's relationship with Vladimir Putin can be interpreted? So how do you think, and how do you interpret the losses of the Russian army in the Black Sea Fleet in Crimea? Do you think the Russian army can recover its losses, and how do you interpret the Ukrainian army's counter-offensive operations and strategic operations? We value your opinion, so please share them with us.